Good day, folks. We are glad to have you here. This is the episode 33, we believe, from the desk of the Executive Director here at Back Bay Mission. And today I have the lovely Miss Julie with me. And we are now in our lobby of our administrative building where folks come to access IDs, energy assistance, rental assistance, food pantry, our client choice food pantry. So there's a lot that happens here.
Our caseworkers are here.
Caseworkers are here, 2 of our caseworkers.
Yes.
And generally on Thursdays, though, there's not necessarily a lot that happens because right now during COVID, they're calling in for energy assistance rather than walking in. Although our food pantry of choice, of course, is utilized 3 days a week. So behind us is Kiona. And Kiona is kind of frontline staff here, helping people who are living in poverty and actually assisting in what we call homeless prevention work. And so this is where Miss Julie actually often sits and volunteers and helps. I would say, I think Julie is one of our premier top volunteers. I'd say she's the volunteer of the year, not to give you too much,
Big head.
Right, big head. But I'm just grateful she's here to talk with us a bit because I think each of us has our own story. And the story is part of our journey and where our paths cross and intersect. And I'm just grateful I've had a chance to get to know Julie. The one thing I love about Julie is that she's always sending me texts with potential homes for me to buy throughout Biloxi because it's really a difficult market as it is everywhere.
It's the realtor background.
It's the realtor background that she has, so I'll let her explain a little bit about that. So how did you, Miss Julie, how did you find Back Bay Mission, or how did Back Bay Mission find you?
After Hurricane Katrina, of course, we were all scrambling to try to get our lives back together, and I was putting applications in anywhere that I thought I could possibly get some help to get my home back together. And there were so many people in need at the time that actually it was after I got back in my home and things were where I could live in it, but other things still needed to be done, that Back Bay Mission got in touch with me. And they have been very helpful in so many ways throughout the years, helping me with my home with energy-wise and also with repairs and upkeep on my home. So in that part of Back Bay Mission and through everything that I think that I went through after Katrina, I wanted to give back. So Back Bay Mission just happened to be the place that really encouraged me to come and be a part of this organization, and it does so many things that mean something to me that I just decided to come up here and give what I could in whatever aspect that I can. Back Bay has a good mission and I believe in it and I want to be a part of it. So mostly just to give back for what was given to me.
So how long have you been volunteering here?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half, okay. Awesome.
Took me a long time to make that step and come and do it. But
well, and you're great because you work so well with the staff, you work incredibly well with our guests that come through here, and we all just appreciate you, especially kind of lunchtime around the big table.
Yes, it's nice, yes. And the one thing about giving is you get back so much. That's one thing about giving that I think we don't understand, that sometimes when you're giving, you don't realize how much you get in return for what you're doing. So it goes both ways.
Well, it's interesting too because I realize, part of your engagement here at Back Bay was when you were going through a difficult time after Hurricane Katrina. And I think that's been difficult on everybody because I really realize as I've moved here to the coast that it's kind of like time here is pre and post Katrina.
It is.
In many, many ways, right?
So true.
And I'm sure it was the same with Camille.
Yes.
But what I find interesting is one thing that Kenny Washington, our Director of Services, says all the time. We're all one situation away from a situation.
Exactly.
And I think in certain respects, it's kind of that situation that brought you here.
Yes.
And that you got connected with Back Bay Mission.
Even though it's close to my home, it's like it didn't prompt me to come and participate in Back Bay Mission until that circumstance. So yes, you never know what might prompt you to do things. I mean, I grew up in a family that was very altruistic. My grandparents, my parents, they involved us in things when we were growing up. Girl Scouts, teaching organizations that I belong to. We've always given. It's always just been a part of my life. But so I had that background, but I never really took that leap. I never stepped out and actually came to Back Bay until then.
Yeah, and so Julie's been a teacher.
Yes.
You've been a realtor.
So many things.
Yeah, so many things.
I've had a life that I've been able to experience a lot of things, so I've been very lucky for that.
Well, I think that's a beautiful thing because for me, I've been involved in the church, in the not-for-profit world, and a variety of not-for-profits, and I think
Yes.
that's a part of the richness of life, right?
Yes.
It's discovery and it's
Yes.
experimenting, it's being on the journey, and
Having those experiences.
and not being
yes.
afraid of change.
Which I'm definitely afraid of. I'm so afraid of change, and it takes me a long time to make it. So
Yeah, right.
But it's a good thing when you do it.
Yeah, and I think honestly, as human beings, we really are afraid of change.
Yeah, change is uncomfortable for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But once you move into the change and
Yes.
you live into the change, right?
Yes.
And actually, Julie lives on Seal Avenue, which is seriously one of the most beautiful streets
Very
in all of Biloxi, right?
Great
And they've got
neighbors,
these
great
great
people.
historic homes and historic
Yes.
markers on the homes, and,
Yes.
and it's just a beautiful neighborhood just a couple blocks from here,
Yes,
actually.
it is.
So how, Julie, do you understand what I like to call people who are unsheltered or
Yes.
homelessness or people living in poverty?
I like the
And-
term unsheltered.
Yeah, unsheltered. How has that kind of changed your, maybe being here at Back Bay Mission or just interacting as a teacher, you probably,
Yes.
and realtor,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
How do you understand poverty, unsheltered?
I don't understand it. When I
Thank
thought
you.
about that, I don't understand it, quite honestly. I think being an empath, I think I can be compassionate about it, but I really don't understand it,
Yeah.
except for the
Yeah,
fact
send me
that
an
I
email.
think we're blind to homelessness. We drive down the road, and I don't think we see it around us, even though there's so much of it. So
Yep.
the homelessness, I think probably, again, sometimes our experiences, and most times our experiences put us where we are. But after Katrina, because I lost my home, I could not live in it. It was still sitting there, but it was totally gutted. And I felt homelessness, not to the extent of any of our clients do, and I feel silly even saying that I felt homelessness.
But that's a part of it,
But
yeah.
I didn't have my home. I had to depend on the love of friends and family. I depended on, I had a FEMA camper trailer. I lived in a hotel. I lived with friends. I lived with family. It was a 4-year experience. I was dependent on other people to get me back in my home. It wasn't something I could do myself. And that's a scary feeling. It's scary because you don't want to ask, you want to be able to do it. Control is taken from you. And so the people that are clients here that come to Back Bay Mission, I understand. I feel like I understand in such a small way what they're going through because I didn't have it to any extent. I mean, some of our clients have no one to help them. And hopefully here at Back Bay, that's what we do.
Right.
We are here to be able to do those things that I was lucky enough to have during the time that I needed it. And so I want to give that to people because I do have some small understanding of what that was like. And many people on the coast do, because I wasn't the only one after Katrina or after Hurricane Camille, which affected me as a young child. I was not harmed in that. I mean, we were very lucky that our home was okay, but it affected so many people at the time.
Yeah, and I'm reminded of that, frequently
Yeah.
as I experience Biloxi and I experience the coast,
Right.
that people here have a different understanding of that. They also have a
Yes.
different understanding of coming together to support and
Yes.
to build community,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
and to rebuild community. And so I think
Yeah.
that's critical because, yeah, you're right. Unless you've had some inkling, some experience, oftentimes people who are unsheltered or homeless, they're invisible. We pass them by. We want
Yes.
to ignore them, right?
Right.
When in essence, what we hope to do here at Back Bay is honor everybody's journey.
Yes.
And respect everybody as an individual. And respect people no matter whether they're unsheltered or sheltered or living in poverty or rich, right?
Yes.
It's
Right.
about respecting their humanity and their divinity at the same time.
Yes, and I think also we need to stop and think that it affects every people across all areas of life. And I think sometimes we forget that it can happen to us at any time. And I love the phrase you said that Kenny uses.
We're a situation away from a situation.
Yes, I love that.
Yep.
And I think that we forget sometimes that it can be us.
Mm-hmm.
Short term or long term. It can happen to us at any time in any moment and I think that's an eye opener. And
Yep.
thank goodness for the people that haven't had to experience those things. But it happens to a great deal of people and can at any moment.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed about Julie clearly is that she has a great deal of compassion. She's an empath, and I'm an empath, which
Yes.
is a blessing and at the same
Oh,
time a curse.
Yes, for sure.
Because sometimes we feel really deeply for
Yes,
others, right?
yes.
And sometimes, yeah, we feel very deeply for others to the point where it becomes really painful.
Yes.
But I also know that you have a family member, right, that's unsheltered and
I
has
do.
bouts of unshelteredness.
I do.
And do you want to share anything about that if you're comfortable?
I'm not sure what to share. I want to honor her and respect her, and but yes, she is for women. She is in an abusive relationship, a volatile relationship, and when it gets really bad, she seeks help. She wants to get out of it, and but she goes right back into it. Family members are frustrated with the fact that they've stopped helping because it's not making a difference. It's not making a difference.
Yeah.
And so I love her, and I don't really know what the answer is. A person in that situation can be given all the help in the world by Back Bay, by anyone,
Yeah.
but until they come to a point where they can make those steps themselves, it's not ever going to be successful. And so
Yeah.
I think that's frustrating, trying to figure out how that is. And it's gotten to the point where she is unsheltered now, and it's a hard place to be for family members and for the person in that situation. I don't know the answers to it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, and I think that's the challenge, right? Part of our mission here at Back Bay Mission is sustainability.
Yes.
That people can be self-sustaining,
Yes.
right, and moving them toward a place where they can be independent.
Independent and
I think
healthy and happy and
healthy,
safe.
happy, independent, and safe in a holistic way, right?
Yes.
The whole person. So I think
Yes.
you're right. That's really being able to give people the tools that they need
Yes.
to thrive and not
Yes.
just survive. Survival
And help
is
them
really
understand it's a hard process. I think we think, okay, look at all these places that you can get help.
Mm-hmm.
And there are not enough, but there are places you can get help, but you have to understand as the person that is unsheltered, that is in that situation, how to take those steps. And I think that's the hardest part. How do we help them understand that? And how
Right.
do they
Right.
come to understand that? It's a hard place, and I just think every day, I think we all need to keep striving for that. I think that's all we can do.
Yep.
Just keep striving, and we're not going to be able to help every person, but I think we should try to help every person and strive to make it better for them. And I always hope that one day that's going to click for her, and she is going to get there. I keep believing it will be.
Yeah. Well, and I think, what I've seen too, and I think maybe your niece would be a perfect candidate for Bridges, right? Bridges
Yes.
Out of Poverty,
Yes.
potentially.
Yes.
Which will start up again, hopefully in January. But
Yes.
I think people really need a hand up, not just a handout. The handouts
yes.
are fine, right? But we have to help people
Yes.
up and
Yes.
walk with them and walk
Yes.
alongside them, hear their story,
Yes.
and really try to encourage them
And-
to grow and to
And respect
expand.
is a big